Good morning. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different and building a zoo. Just really wanted to do this one and I had quite a bit of fun doing it. So let's get started. I've been working on this city now for ages, but one of the games I've always loved is Zoo Tycoon, or like all the games around that. I know Zoo Tycoon's pretty old now, but I wanted to do something a little bit similar in this episode and build my very own zoo. And so I got to work building our zoo. The very first thing I did was put together a list of all the animals we'd need to find. Fortunately, I had most of these, but it's a pretty substantial list. I also made a note of what kind of biome they'd like to live in. Of course, if we want polar bears, we're going to need some ice. And if we want dolphins, we're going to need water. But first of all, we needed a place to put all of these different animals. And so I carved out a lovely area for a new zoo. It's carved into the edge of our farming valley, which I feel is a pretty natural place for the animals to look out on. And with a little bit more work, I was able to put in some proper walls to contain the zoo. Of course, I had to do a little bit of terraforming to make it a nice steep drop to really divide the zoo from the farming valley. And I think I did a pretty good job. And so, with our zoo area in place, I made a plan. I had to map out all of the animals we'd need, all the biomes they'd need to live in, and how I could position those to make a fun and interesting experience. And so, here's the plan. I did not stick to the plan at all, but I did get all the animals, so that's pretty good. And so, ignoring my plan completely, I sketched out all the different biomes and where they'd go. And now it's time to pop some animals in their new homes. But first, a story.
Struppy, we lead the vanguard straight into the heart of Ladagen. Phantom is keeping guard over Thaldrim. We have forged every scrap of iron we could get our hands on, and now the Vikings of the North are uniform and clad in the finest Thaldric steel. Tonight we take the port that feeds like a flea from the sweat of our backs. Ladagen will become just one of many ports in our domain.
So, to really get the ball rolling, I decided to start off with the hardest enclosure of all. This, of course, is our aquarium and water area. It's got dolphins and turtles and a ton of fish. It was pretty hard to build, but there's a lovely bridge that's going to go over the water area and into the zoo. Next on is the ice biome, and it's got two lovely polar bears who are clipping through each other. I also put a few salmon in there, which is kind of mean. And then I built my bridge, and you can see we now have an entranceway into what's going to be a wonderful zoo. With a few pathways, I was able to build the next exhibit. We have a lovely rock with a couple llamas on top. But even this llama is looking longingly at our next exhibit, which has a bunch of pandas. These doughy little fellas are pretty cool, but what's going to be even cooler is the desert exhibit next to them. It's got a few amarillos. Amarillos? No, that's yellow in Spanish. Armadillos. The ball animal, the one you can kick. Don't kick them. Yeah, and then camels. Cool. But if we put the Spanish lesson aside, we can see we've built a lovely desert area with some armadillos and some camels. And now they have some cacti to enjoy. I also didn't realise that camels can just walk over things. I lost 3 camels. But luckily I haven't lost any of our new ocelots. But before we can make this zoo look beautiful, we have to finish adding in the rest of the animals. We've still got a few to go, but I did a whole bunch at once. You can see my escaped camel just sitting down on the wall outside. But here we have the plains area, the forest areas, another mountain area for some goats, and a lovely building I built for the frogs and the axolotls. I feel like we could probably keep slimes in here as well, if there was enough room. Look at these crazy little fellas. Absolutely, they need to stop. Just calm down. And up top, we can see our frogs are trapped behind a pane of glass. They will just run away. And I think overall, that's a pretty good look for that building. So let's look at the last few animals and then get into the details. We've got some goats who are tied to a post, a bunch of wolves, a couple foxes, and then a plains area full of horses and donkeys. Overall, I think that's a pretty nice start for a zoo. But of course, we're going to need all the details that make this a fun place to be. I'm talking food stalls, rides, everything. I'll see you in just a sec after this story segment.
By the time the sun graced the sky, the fighting was over. Victor Armstrong had marched the Thaldrim conquerors right up to Ladogen's only bridge. There he was met with defences and Mayor Jansen. The mayor was well-resourced given the constant flow of trade, and so he had equipped the Dog of Mornington with fine armour to match his sword. Ladogen was a merchant city and ill-suited for a fight. Every resident from the outer sections rushed into the fortified island. The few towers they had were captured by Armstrong, and Thaldrim archers aimed from the towers toward the island they were built to defend. Without hope of relief and their trade cut off by Vikings, Ladogen would surely starve.
Tell me, Struppy, how long can this island hold? How long must we wait until the only conquering we must do is the promise of food?
Okay, we're back with a lovely carousel. And this brings a bunch of detail to our zoo. But it's just the beginning. I've added a hot dog stand and a burger stand in case you're feeling hungry and you'd like a bite to eat. This is really where I started Zoo Tycoon maxing, because I love that game, and sort of building these reminded me of that game. But we've got some lovely park areas as well, with flowers and trees. And of course, I had to take a ride on the carousel. I had a bunch of minecarts. It's really more bumper cars, or dodgems, as I think they call them in the US. But I promise it's a carousel. And so I took a little bit of a ride on the carousel after managing to whittle it down to just one car. There we go, time to ride. I really enjoyed building this. It definitely isn't, I don't know, it's not something that really suits the city yet. I don't think it's that size, and I think it's more of a modern thing. It doesn't really suit a medieval city. But I thought it was pretty fun, and it's a cool place to keep all the weird animals I've collected over my time playing. And looking from above, it really does feel like a pretty accurate zoo. I'm quite pleased with it, and hope you are too. And I'd like to thank you for watching. If you're new around here, maybe subscribe, maybe comment, but if not, see you next time. But either way, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a really, really good morning, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again on Friday morning for another episode. Go on, get out there, have a good day. I'm telling you to do it, right? Stand up, like brush your teeth or something. I don't know, maybe you've already done that, in which case, don't do it again. It's probably bad for you. Don't want to overdo it, but get out there, have a good day, get ready, go get dressed. It's going to be awesome. See you next time.